I'm recording locally as well. Okay, so that's what we have here. So here I'll go to get Bootstrap. So that's the official website for Bootstrap. So when I go to get Bootstrap, and I'm sharing the stream URL, so you always please check if it is still running. So this is Bootstrap. So basically Bootstrap is a CSS framework, and what a framework is it's more like when you have already made food. Does that make sense? And when you say already made food or ready to eat food, it's not necessarily that you will get to the house sometimes and start eating it. You might still need to do a couple of additional things, like maybe put it in your desired plate or get the spoon or something like. But you just need to do some extra little work in order for you to be able to eat the food. At least you need to put it on the table and use your mouth and your hand to lift your spoon to your mouth so that you can be able to have a meal. But what frameworks are basically, we have already written CSS syntax, having specific style or rule set attached to them that you can use on the fly in your own project without having to write sophisticated CSS. You just need to know what class names are available you know from on that framework, and you use those class names, then you get the very same output that this framework provides when they were writing those rule sets. So I know that's a little bit wordy, and I'm not even sure if I communicated that properly, but let's just see how it works. So let me go to the home page. So remember I told you about CDN sometime back, right?
Yes, sir.
So I said CDN serves as, serves as, it stands for a content delivery network. And what that means is this is just another random file on the internet, or another random CSS file per se in this case. But it is not, written on your computer locally, but instead it is stored somewhere on the internet, on a server somewhere. And then if you can get the URL to that server, you can import that same file into your project, and you can begin to use it in your project. So Bootstrap is served over a CDN, and when you copy that CDN, basically it is served over a CDN. When you copy that CDN and go to your JavaScript, your HTML, and you go to the head tag of your HTML, and you put that CDN there, and if we go back to our project, you will see that our font has changed. I don't know if you will notice that, but our font actually did change from what it was before. Because initially, see what we had initially, and just take a look at that. So you can see what we had initially. But when we brought in our, sorry, let me just comment this out. This is what we had initially. You can see what we had initially. Hello. But the moment I brought in this Bootstrap CDN, you see what is happening. Our font automatically is changed. Does that make sense?
Correctly.
And that's because if we click on this link as like this, and we follow it down in our browser, and I open this, you are going to realize that it's actually a massive CSS file that is on that, what's it called, on that that link points to, the link points to a massive CSS file. And this is an example of what they call a minified file. That means it has been compressed, so you can actually see you see it in such a way so that it consumes less memory space, and that it takes lesser compile time. That's why you minify it, and that's why you see bootstrap.min.css. So I think if we don't do .min.css, I will just go to Bootstrap, you see that you actually have a more sophisticated, more like the regular kind of CSS. Does that make sense? Can you see that? Hello. Can you
Yeah, I
guys
can
see
see that.
that? You can see we have navbar.expand, off canvas, and all those stuff. You have different kind of class names here. You have media queries and so on, and these are all inside of the Bootstrap CSS file. Can you see that? But instead of writing this CSS in your project like we normally do, styles.css or index.css, what you are doing is that you are retrieving this particular CSS file over a content delivery network. And all you just need to know is what class names have been made available, and you here. depending on what you need. Does that make sense for everyone? Please, if it makes sense, let me know. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, makes sense for everyone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let me just get rid of everything we have inside of here, including the JavaScript file. Hello. So including the JavaScript file. So what I'm going to do here,